you agree with a lot of fans that say that he may be avoided by like the Cottos and fighters like that?
There's no question. I mean, when I go down the list, up and down the list with HBO, and who would be possible and who's not possible, it always seems to be, we fight them, but just not next. So that's why we're going to make a shirt, Triple G, just not next. So people don't want to say they don't want to fight them, but it's just hard to get them in the ring at that particular time.
What is the most impressive thing about Golovkin to you, and do you think if he fights Canelo, he'll win that fight?
Yeah, I believe that Gennady can get victory over Canelo, because these guys are both very dangerous and very talented, and one older, one younger, just that's it. But I don't see. I understand why Canelo not getting up. Everybody understands.
Why? What is that?
Who is not stupid? Who is not stupid? Everybody understands.
Getting up. He's not interested.
Well, Canelo said that Golovkin, he needs to fight somebody. He needs to fight somebody that's going to complicate him. He compared his last 10 opponents to Golovkin's last 10 opponents. What do you think about Canelo saying that?
That's bullshit to me, because you can't force guys to fight you. Golovkin hasn't been in the same caliber of guys as Canelo, because those guys don't want to fight Golovkin. That's it. So you can't put a gun at somebody's head and make them get in the ring. You can't compare the level of opposition when people won't fight you. You can't knock somebody for being so good that guys won't fight them, and then you say who they fight. Of course, who they fight. Nobody wants to fight them, including you. So how you gonna compare that? So for me, that argument is irrelevant.
You don't feel it, then it must be too real to touch. You'll never in your life try to knock the truth. The illest shit ever. Get ready, 'cause this is about to get heavy.
Trying to keep me out, trying to censor what I say, 'cause they don't like what I'm talking about. So it's wrong with the media today.
Prove I'm lying if I ain't correct.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I am back with some more boxing. Make sure you guys hit the like and subscribe button here on YouTube. Also follow me. I'm on every platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, @BoxingEgo. Now, it's getting bad, and I told you, new media is tearing you boys out the frame. Pause. Now, I told people when this new media was first conceived what it was. It's all about just bringing the reality back to boxing, talking intelligent boxing talk, and supporting your claims. That's it, right? And I say things on this boxing stuff, I always give people a fair shake. Some people say, oh, you're biased, you hate this person, you have something against this person, and all types of stuff. But the proof is in the pudding, and that's what's happening with new media. And it's getting bad. The walls are closing in on a lot of the detractors, a lot of the people who are saying otherwise out here in boxing. So I'm just browsing on Yahoo Sports. Let me clear this off, and I came across this article. So this is Yahoo Sports, which is obviously everyone's heard of Yahoo, and that's a pretty big entity that covers sports. I mean, everyone knows the name Yahoo. And look at the title. The title of this here, I have this too. Don't Fall for Oscar De La Hoya's Lies About Canelo vs. Golovkin by Kevin Ioli, August 31st. So just posted. Don't fall for Oscar De La Hoya's promises. And again, you click on it and it says don't fall for Oscar De La Hoya's lies about Canelo vs. Golovkin. And this was an intelligent write-up from Kevin Ioli, so shout out to him. Link in the description. And I want you guys to read it and read what he's saying. But I want to take a couple snippets out of it, what he was talking about, and just examine it. He's basically saying don't fall for Golden Boy's promises. Golden Boy has said time and time again that they're going to make the best of fights. I mean, just listen to it. It's very eloquently worded. He says Oscar De La Hoya, CEO of Golden Boy Promotions, has made it clear by his actions over the last few months that what he says and what he does are two separate and distinct things. Listen to him speak and you'll leave the room convinced he's going to put together a card filled with matches that would make Hagler Hearns and Ali Frazier 3 look tame by comparison. You'll think he's ready to match Canelo Alvarez with Godzilla, not just Gennady Golovkin. Follow through, however, appears to be a problem for the Golden Boy, who seems to have gotten pretty good at the old bait and switch. And he's talking about the Liam Smith Canelo fight, and he's basically saying this is not what the fans wanted. This is kind of a smokescreen. You're talking about it beating Pacquiao numbers, things of that sort. You said after Canelo knocked out Khan brutally that you were gonna call Tom Loeffler and try to get that fight cracking, and to no avail. And it's bad because he's saying what most people, including myself, have been saying. There's other guys like Jermell Charlo, possibly Erislandy Lara. So if you had to fight someone at 154, why was it him, right? And this is something I hadn't even really done the research. I just know from Liam Smith's record. But he says Smith is 23-0-1, and he's the WBO super welterweight title. His last fight was a second-round knockout of Predrag Radiosevic, who entered the bout with an impressive 30-1 record. But when you look a little deeper, you discover that 30-1 mark was compiled against less than world competition. Before facing Liam Smith, Radiosevic's previous 3 bouts or opponents were 13-4, 55-16, and 128-2. Do you guys understand what that means? And he says it wouldn't be hard to build up a 30-1 record against that type of opposition. And this is the crazy thing about it, man. Like, a lot of people, they want to get mad and say this and that, but there's really no denying that. Like, that's the level of competition the champion has fought. And this is exactly what I told people in terms of Liam Smith. He could be talented, he could be a phenomenal, very sturdy guy, but based on what he's done and proven, he hasn't showed that, you know what I'm saying? And there's other people that are ready-made right now. They've already proven they can hang with the best of them, right? So again, just to corroborate, to make sure Kevin Iole did his research properly, Liam Smith 23-0 with 1 draw, right? And the fight in which landed, you know what I mean, the most recent fight before Canelo Alvarez is this guy, Predrag Radiosevic. Never heard of him other than when I was doing my research that he fought. So both of his losses, they were stoppage losses. He has a 34% knockout ratio, right? So he got TKO'd by Felix Sturm, who tested positive this year, but in 2013, Felix Sturm is a solid, definitely a good fighter. He got knocked out by Felix Sturm, right? But this is the Liam Smith. He got knocked out also by him. These are the records: 13-4-0, 55-16-0, and he fought this guy. And I didn't even know this until Kevin Iole's research. Well, now he has another win, but at the time he had 1 win, and he has 33 losses, 20 by KO, and 2 draws with a 3% knockout ratio. And this is somebody that Liam Smith's partner, or his last opponent, just fought. Somebody with a 3%. I've never even, like, I'm being honest with you guys, I've never even seen anybody on BoxRec who has this many fights, 37 bouts, with a 3% knockout ratio. I've never seen that, ever. 3%? So I don't want to hear about feather-fisted. And the point being, this isn't Liam Smith because he knocked the guy Predrag Radiosevic, but this is the guy he knocked out, who's already been knocked out in 2013 by Felix Sturm. And this is the level of opposition that he was fighting just in 2014. A guy who was 128-2 with a 3% knockout ratio. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you guys, the walls are closing in. It's looking very bad. I like and respect Canelo for his style of fight. I like Canelo, but I'm not a fanboy. I'm not a groupie. And if I don't understand the motive behind the career path, then I'll give that fair criticism. When Canelo took the Austin Trout fight, Floyd Mayweather fight, Erislandy Lara fight, watch my old videos. I gave him credit because those are all step ups. There was no stepping back. You weren't looking back in competition. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. So it's getting ugly for a lot of the detractors, and new media is just putting a hurting on you boys, because you can no longer say this whole, oh, ego, it's just because you hate Canelo, you're racist. What about Kevin Iole? He's saying the same thing, and he's bringing up other points like Liam Smith's recent opponent's level of opposition, Predrag Radiosevic, right? So you can no longer use the excuse that, oh, it's because ego's racist, that's why he made this video and he's talking about Canelo. How about I want to see what's right for the sport of boxing. how about it's, I have faith that Canelo is a solid fighter that could test Golovkin, so I want to see the fight because it's a great fight and it's meaningful for boxing. So I'm always going to support that. It has nothing to do with racism. And again, if you point the finger at me and say I'm racist, then you got to look at Kevin Iole and everybody else who has had the same exact criticism. And the only people that I've seen that haven't really had similar criticism or complaints or been scratching their head, raising an eyebrow, are the people who are clearly biased, and some of them are racist themselves. So it's funny how people point the finger and say, hey, you're this and that, you have so many double standards and you're racist, and then I see them in the comment section and they're doing what they claim I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? This has nothing to do with Canelo. If he took a tough test at 154, he wouldn't be getting this type of backlash from the public. If he didn't drop his belt, he wouldn't get this backlash. If he fought Golovkin, instead of just talking about it in all these interviews and saying Golovkin got to prepare for me, fuck the bullshit, and we can put the gloves back on, that's what's making it look bad. And Golden Boy, it's just from what I've seen, it's them speaking as if they have intentions of fighting Golovkin, but nothing ever materializes, you know what I mean? And that's just what it is. So it's getting bad, and like I said, the walls are closing in when you have Yahoo Sports, who are also doing the same type of articles, the same type of videos. And when I do a video, they're like, this is the Canelo channel, why you keep making Canelo videos? But no one's asking, why aren't other websites making a bunch of articles about Canelo? Or why do Yahoo Sports say don't fall for Oscar De La Hoya's lies about Canelo versus Golovkin? So it's definitely comical at this point to see the blatant stereotypes and double standards that certain people who speak out against what's real get. And it's funny to me. So to me, the only way to reverse this train is to actually step up past this Liam Smith. You got to do something. I think the way Golden Boy is handling Canelo's career, it's not making him look good. I don't know if he doesn't want to fight Golovkin, or if he does and his team or Oscar doesn't. I don't know the details. I'm not there behind the scenes, but it's not looking good. And it's bad when you have a fighter who was in the favor of the fan, and then now you have people. I have a pretty good following on all social medias, including YouTube, and I see the comments. People are like, man, I was riding with Canelo, I was counting on him, and I think he can beat Golovkin, but he's pissing me off with this. That's bad. That's bad when you look at it. I know people that, let's say, hate Floyd Mayweather or Andre Ward. The thing is, they hate him no matter what. If he has a great performance against Canelo, they still hate Floyd. Or if Ward steps up in weight and beats Sullivan Barrera, it's not good enough. Barrera was a bum. You know what I mean? They're never going to give him credit. But the thing is, it's bad when a fighter or fight fan was riding with the fighter and all of a sudden they just can't co-sign it. So it's looking bad, man. Go type in Alfredo El Perro Angulo and see what he's been saying about Canelo. He says he called him a Nina, which is a girl, little girl. He called him and said he has no balls and Mexican fighters don't do this. I looked at an interview with Orlando Salido, who's clearly a Mexican warrior, who's been in there with Juan Manuel Marquez. He's been in there with Robert Guerrero. He's been in there with Juanma Lopez, Yuriorkis Gamboa. He beat Vasily Lomachenko. He's been in there with Mikey Garcia. So he just fought Francisco Vargas. Arguably, some people thought he should have won that fight. So Rocky Martinez, the point being is, so you're going to say Orlando Salido's racist because he just said Golden Boy's protecting Canelo and they're spoon feeding him, and that's not the way of the true Mexican warrior. So again, just check in the comment section. When I make a video, or when whoever makes a video, look at what people are saying. And again, you can't keep saying this is just racism and people are outing Canelo based on racism when everybody's saying it. It's like that scapegoat only lasts so long when you start getting people from all different creeds, all different walks of life, and they're all saying the same exact thing. There's no way. Like, let's just say there's an associate who's black and they're getting harassed by a manager, they keep getting written up, and then they go to that person's supervisor, the district manager or whatnot, and say, hey, you know what, this manager has it out for me. He doesn't like me because he's racist because I'm black. And they pull the race card and say, that's the reason. I know it, right? And he says, this white manager doesn't like me because I'm black. That's what they say. right? And then the store manager, district manager, whatever starts paying attention to it. But if every manager has the same gripe and the same complaint, even the employees, and they're black, white, Mexican, Asian, Puerto Rican, and everybody's having the same complaints, like this motherfucker's lazy, they don't come to work on time, etc., then you can no longer say it's because he hates me because I'm black. At that point, it's not because you're black, it's because you're not doing what's right and you're making other people's jobs harder. And this is very simple mathematics. Again, you can't really use the race card, and that works. That's just an analogy that works with anyone. If someone says, hey, this black manager hates me because I'm white, but not only the black manager is saying that, if it's a Mexican manager that's saying it, and a Korean manager that's saying it, and a Dominican manager that's saying it, and the message is all the same across the pond, I mean across all the different ethnicities, then you can no longer say that. So again, new media is putting a hurting on the boys, because it's just becoming to the point where you can't really justify some of the stuff. Like, we'll see what Liam Smith does if he can put up a good fight, but all that racist, oh, you're racist and stuff, a lot of you guys look dumb. Now, don't get me wrong, there are people who are actually racist in the sport of boxing. Let's, full disclaimer, full disclosure, there are people that are actually racist, but you'll notice a lot more patterns, right? You'll notice patterns with the true racists, because let's say you suspect someone's racist against black fighters. Notice from Floyd Mayweather to Andre Ward to Terrence Crawford to Errol Spence Jr., they won't praise none of them. Not a single one of them. Even though Errol Spence doesn't trash talk like Floyd Mayweather, even though Terrence Crawford or Keith Thurman or whoever the person is don't fight alike, they still won't give them the full props, right? All across the board. But you look at me, or you look at whoever else, and then you look at the patterns. I've never given the level of criticism or critique that I've given Canelo to Juan Manuel Marquez. I never did it to Mikey Garcia. I never did it to like a Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. I never did it because these guys never did what Canelo has done. You know what I mean? I never said Orlando Salido, he needs to go ahead and fight Lomachenko, and he's avoiding him because he fought Lomachenko. You know what I'm saying? So people got to get off this whole race card when it clearly doesn't apply. Now, I can understand if myself or whoever you assume is racist, every single time there was a fighter of a certain ethnicity, whether it was black, white, Mexican, or whatnot, it was a problem. That would be something different, period, right? Some people are like, oh, stop talking about Floyd Mayweather. Why? He's the best fighter of this generation. He was the pound for pound #1 person. Everybody knows his fight, so why would I not have an analogy? And people, a lot of times with their commentary and with what they leave in the comment section, you could tell where their head's at. They don't want you to talk about him because they probably don't like him, right? So anytime you give him praise, it's like a thorn to them, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna wrap it up. It is what it is. But as you guys can see, link in the description, Kevin Iole, he went in on this particular fight, and he's telling the fans, don't fall for Oscar De La Hoya's lies about Canelo versus Golovkin. Me, I'm a boxing fan first and foremost. If Canelo steps up and fights Golovkin, great. I want to see it, period. I do have criticism about Golovkin too. I mean, I think he's 34 years old. There are people that have avoided him, but there's other options. Like, you got to look at it like this. If all these people are avoiding you, and I could think of, let's say, 5 people that are avoiding Golovkin, true indeed, people that have avoided him, you know what I mean, from Cotto to Billy Joe Saunders to Danny Jacobs or whatever. Let's say I list 5 people. Then based on who you are and what you need to prove at the elite level, then you shouldn't really be turning down anybody. You shouldn't really be turning down Andre Ward when he was at 168. You shouldn't really be turning down a challenge Edeslandi Lara. You should really be looking into those things, because those guys beating Edeslandi Lara, who has a better resume than Kell Brook, and if you try to argue that, then you don't know shit about boxing. And I'll debate people, and if they start talking reckless, then they'll just get blocked. But who can debate that Edeslandi Lara doesn't have better names per division than Kell Brook on his entire resume, right? Edeslandi Lara has Paul Williams, Carlos Molina. I'm not talking about if he won the fight, lost the fight. I'm talking about who he stepped in there with. Canelo, you know what I mean? Vanes Monterosin twice. He's been in there with some live bodies, right? So that's just it. You guys let me know what you think. of Canelo, of Triple G. Like I said, there's each things, and I got to take it on a case-by-case basis. There's things I agree with Canelo on regarding Triple G, like his resume. That's the biggest test. To the eye test, he looks phenomenal. It looks like he's going to be a pill to swallow, and he's going to be very hard to beat. But I still got to see it. I can't just give you the credit for the assignment when you haven't turned it in. So I agree with Team Canelo when it comes to stuff like that, but I also agree with Kevin Ioli's article. So it just really depends on what it's about. But y'all gotta just embed this in your mind. New media is here. You can dislike, but you can't disprove. Make sure you like the video, share the video as always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.